Dameion Fowler is being mourned by his friends and his family as they say he was an activist for things like equality and social justice.
There's a specific kind of emptiness in the home now, knowing that, your brother, who usually comes through the door maybe earlier or later than you do, is not coming through that door.
Dameion never wanted to be the one who was being recognized or in the spotlight. He was happy to be in the background, pushing people forward. And pushing these causes forward.
Dameion Fowler's loved ones are describing him as a humble voice who advocated for those who didn't have one. They say he was always working to help those in need and build a better community in Horry County. And according to Dameion's friend and colleague, Jenny Schlosser, he was working on a few projects just before he died. At Coastal Carolina University, Dameion was working with a professor to bring in the first ever TEDx event. Schlosser says she and Dameion were also leading a new nonprofit, the Free Horry County Bail Fund, helping struggling incarcerated people post their bail. She says Dameion was always the person who brought ideas of change to life.
I don't know where we would be without him on this. I don't know that there would be a bail fund that even existed without him having that energy and having that drive to just make things happen. He was all of our engines, you know what I mean?
Dameion Fowler, Dameion's twin brother, says Dameion didn't just share his opinions. He was knowledgeable about the civil rights movements he advocated for.
He wanted to dedicate his life to fighting for other people.
And as Dameion leaves behind a 5-year-old son, Khalil, his ex-wife and the mother of his child, LaQuisha Singleton, says Dameion often tried to teach his son about social justice initiatives and even brought him to local events. Singleton says she's heartbroken that Dameion is gone and she'll try every day to remind Khalil about who his father was.
Just telling Khalil about his dad has been really hard because he asks me now, like, every morning, every night, where's my daddy? I had to tell him, daddy's up in the sky with the angels.
While those who know Dameion say he's left a hole in their hearts, he's also leaving behind a platform and inspiration to move forward.
I think he would absolutely tell us not to stop. I think his legacy is that we don't stop.
According to his brother, Dameion's funeral will be held at the Horry Georgetown Technical College Auditorium on Friday, February 11th at 1 p.m. Also, a GoFundMe account has been created for Fowler's son and the rest of his family.
Jennifer, unfortunately, not at this time, but troopers say they are working around the clock to solve it. Meanwhile, Alyssa Davison says that her partner was just right here checking the brakes on his car when he was struck and killed.
This is the first time I've been here. And to know that he was laying here alone.
Alyssa Davison breaks down when she thinks of what happened to her partner, 44-year-old Levi Davison. She says they were on the phone last Wednesday evening when he pulled over to check his brakes on East Palmetto Street in Florence.
We were on the phone, he was mid-sentence, and the phone just stopped and disconnected.
Davison tells me she had no idea the reason why his phone went dead was because he'd been hit by a car. She says her life just won't be the same.
It has been unbearable to know that he was right here on the side of the road.
She questions why troopers haven't caught the person who hit the love of her life. Troopers say they've put up a marquee asking for information in that deadly hit and run. Highway Patrol says they're doing all they can and sympathize with Davison.
We want to put our 100% heart and soul in it because we want to give closure to these families and we want to make this situation right.
Alyssa Davison says they had their whole life ahead of them. She says she and Levi were happy and in love. Now she's left with just memories.
It breaks my heart. It is extremely unbearable.
Davison said her partner spent 21 years in the military with several tours of deployment in Afghanistan. Jennifer, court records show the judge denied it for, quote, failure to prove facts of alleged abuse. Now, the judge also advised Taylor and her husband in his ruling on what else they needed to do. You're looking at copies of the order of protection requested by 29-year-old Taylor McFadden Robinson, filed against her husband, Duncan Robinson Jr. Police say Robinson killed his wife of 7 years Sunday morning at her home in Florence. Her family is just devastated.
To say that her life was cut short in this matter, something I can never get over, my family.
I pored over the thick file of records in family court where I found Taylor's order of protection that she filed for last March. An emergency hearing took place within 24 hours. The order details what Taylor says led her to ask for protection against her husband. A paragraph in the order says, quote, "On this day, March 23, 2021, Duncan came over to my home demanding the kids. He followed me after repeatedly being told to leave the premises. I called the police on March 21st. Duncan came to drop the kids off. He blocked my car in and entered my home without permission. On March 12th, Duncan broke my back door after kicking in repeatedly to attempt to enter my home." She said on March 9th, he tried to fight the contractor on her property, and on March 15th, tried to run her over with his car. The judge wrote in its notes that, quote, "Parties were advised to get attorneys and file divorce action. Differences appear to be over children." Those who work within the court system say you have to prove to a judge that you're in fear of your life to be granted an order of protection. Taylor's sister shared her frustration during Robinson's bond hearing Monday about the denial of the protection order.
The system has failed us. My sister asked for a restraining order, and the judge denied it.
Court records show the couple had a final divorce hearing set for next month right here at the Florence County Judicial Center. A judge has denied bond for Robinson. He remains in jail.
Yeah, that boost is centered around making sure we don't miss out on the economic opportunities that come along with a fast-growing Latino population. A Mexican restaurant owner here says this directory helps us all. South Carolina Minority Affairs Agency leaders are building a directory of Latino businesses.
Put Marlboro County Latino store, and then you'll find that there is a store somewhere out there.
A bridge helping them connect with each other, but also leading to a major economic opportunity. The latest census report shows the Latino and Hispanic population grew by 50% in South Carolina and 46% in Horry County.
That shows a great economic impact in this state. And that's what we need to educate people.
It's such a good idea because some of us don't know everything we have all around us.
Lorenzo Soto owns Tacarria, Guanajuato in Horry County and says while the Latino community's growth brings them success, sometimes people looking for new experiences need a clear path.
They like more authentic and they want it, but they don't know where it is.
He says others might see a restaurant but don't feel invited. An emotional roadblock he says he knows well after moving here from Mexico.
We always try and have one or two people that are bilingual to make sure they feel welcome, because it's uncomfortable to go to a place where you can't ask or understand questions you have.
And with the directory bridging those gaps, it leads to a destination of economic success for everyone in the Palmetto State.
We're friendly here, and this restaurant has been a family tradition. Americans, Latinos, whoever you are, you're welcome.
Now, Lorenzo says another benefit he sees down the line is the creation of jobs that come from Latino businesses' success. He says part of Latino culture is a strong desire to work and create, and he says that's exactly what people are doing when they move here.